was a Friday. We were wrapping up a slow night on highway patrol when the call came in. Deer Patrol, Buck speaking. Slow down, Tom, slow down. What's the problem? What? You hit a deer and Southern Kentucky Collision is going to give you a free turkey? Well, that sounds like a great idea. I'm sorry you don't agree, but Southern Kentucky Collision knows that deer do a ton of damage to vehicles. Kentucky's ranked 4th in the country in number of deer collisions this time of year. A free turkey when you bring your vehicle to Southern Kentucky Collision for repair of the deer damage is a great way to turn your luck around. Well, not your luck around. Southern Kentucky's collisions respected work is well documented. So if you hit a deer, don't be a turkey. Get a turkey. Bring your vehicle to Southern Kentucky Collision. The 8th annual Hit a Deer, Get a Turkey event at Southern Kentucky Collision, Industrial Drive, Glasgow. No real deer or turkeys were harmed in the making of this commercial.
Well, welcome today to our pre-election interview process here. Chris Eaton, you're running for Magistrate District 4 here in Barren County, of course, on the Democratic ticket. How are you today?
I'm good, Brennan, and thank you for the opportunity to discuss my candidacy with you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, first, of course, let's kind of dive into a number of the things, just to kind of preface for folks listening today. Of course, back in the primary that happened in May, you were not on the ticket, and lots of folks were saying, well, I thought Chris was running. Well, that's just because you were the lone Democrat running for District 4, and there are a couple others like that as well. So just diving right into it, let's talk about what have you been up to this year here in Barren County as you've been running this campaign for District 4 Magistrate?
Well, I was fortunate enough, Brennan, not to have an opponent, and so therefore I've been out in the community every day, 6 days a week, visiting with folks, knocking on their doors, discussing the issues and problems that they think are important not only to Barren County but for the 4th District, the one I'm running for.
Right. What are some of those things that folks have been telling you about?
Well, infrastructure is one big thing. Jobs, how we can move this community forward without division, and that's one thing that I'm running on is vision, not division. And people are concerned. They want to know how are we going to move our community forward past this division and get on the right track to make all 7 districts prosper and Barren County prosper.
Very good. So you're no stranger to county government, of course. You have an extensive period of time that you spent as sheriff of the county. Of course, before that, you were law enforcement. So let's talk about your background first in law enforcement, and really anything if you'd like to, but particularly what's your background look like to this phase of life now?
Well, I spent over 20 years in law enforcement. I started out with Tompkinsville Police Department. I was there 5 years, and then Barney Jones hired me for the sheriff's office. I was a road deputy, and then in 2006 I ran for sheriff after his retirement and was lucky enough to get elected and lucky enough to get reelected in 2010. I wanted to get back in it because I feel like I have a lot more to offer for Barren County and for the 4th District.
Sure. So some of those things that you mentioned that folks were talking about, jobs, infrastructure, really the future of our county. As a magistrate, of course, like you said, you're one of 7 folks there on the fiscal court at this point. Talk about, in your mind, what is your vision for Barren County?
Well, the very first day that I take office, I want to set a 25-year vision plan for the 4th District. What can we do? And put a committee together of folks within the 4th District. What can we do to move our district forward? What is the goals? What's ideas that we can do? Hyattsville's a city, Brennan, to me. 2004 it was voted out, but it's still a city. When you pull in there, you've got a great school, you've got great businesses, family-owned businesses. The 4th District, if you look at that map, it's rural. It's very rural. It comes into Glasgow and takes a portion of Glasgow, but Hyattsville has such a rich history. We had the first African-American mayor in the South, Luska Twyman, was from Hyattsville. Governor Louis Nunn was from Hyattsville. Jim Newberry, mayor of Lexington, was from Hyattsville. Wes Strader, the voice of the Hilltoppers, Hyattsville. There's a big, there's a lot I think we could use tourism-wise in that community. We got Legacy Dairy. Phillips Market is the best grocery store, family-owned in Barren County. Sherry's Restaurant. Pro Solutions, Hyattsville Park Center. There is so much in this district that we can promote and do.
You make a good point there about Hyattsville because it is still one of those rural communities, but it's still present And you mentioned, like you said, Phillips. I hear all the time folks going to
Yeah.
Phillips for meat sales or whatever else they've got going on there. It's that community value that folks are still really a fan of, even in today's time. So I know that it's easy to lose track of which direction a magistrate may be going in. Of course, yes, you are a representative of that 4th district, which, to clarify for folks, is that northeastern portion of Barren County. But you're also working for the entire county. Let's talk about visions as a whole for Barren County. I know you spoke to the fact that you do have 5 children. That's obviously important. Some are adults now, others still at home. What's the future for youth, particularly in your opinion, look like in this community?
Well, Brendan, if I'm lucky enough to get elected, I think the salary is $11,400. I'm taking that salary and I'm putting it back into the community. I'm not going to. I'll take the salary, but no money will ever be spent out of my pocket or go into my pocket. It will be spent to utilize it within the community. And one thing I want to do is get with kids that don't make the best grades, but be able to donate that money to them for a scholarship and then work with our local businesses to get them a trade. If it's welding, if it's HVAC, whatever we can do to keep them here. And I'm a big proponent of our recreation department. I think Maxie Murray does a wonderful job down there, and I'm in support of ball fields because I think it's good for our youth. But we have to invest in our younger people. And with this 25-year vision plan that I like, we need younger people at 25 years old to 30 years old to be involved, and because 25 years down the road they're going to be the same age as I am, and they're going to be the leaders. They're going to be the wise people in the community. So we have to invest in our youth in this community and teach them that we're behind them. They've got ideas, and we can't dismiss their ideas no matter what, because I might have the best idea in the world, but you come in behind me and yours is better. And that's great, and there's nothing wrong with building on other people's ideas.
It was a Friday. We were wrapping up a slow night on highway patrol when the call came in. Deer Patrol, Buck speaking. Slow down, Tom, slow down. What's the problem? What? You hit a deer and Southern Kentucky Collision is going to give you a free turkey? Well, that sounds like a great idea. I'm sorry you don't agree, but Southern Kentucky Collision knows that deer do a ton of damage to vehicles. Kentucky's ranked 4th in the country in number of deer collisions this time of year. A free turkey when you bring your vehicle to Southern Kentucky Collision for repair of the deer damage is a great way to turn your luck around. Well, not your luck around. Southern Kentucky's Collision's respected work is well documented. So if you hit a deer, don't be a turkey. Get a turkey. Bring your vehicle to Southern Kentucky Collision. The 8th annual Hit a Deer, Get a Turkey event at Southern Kentucky Collision, Industrial Drive, Glasgow. No real deer or turkeys were harmed in the making of this commercial.
Do you think during your time as sheriff, of course it looks a little different for the sheriff than it does for even a magistrate or any other elected official, what do you think, what skill sets did you build as sheriff that could be useful in your time as magistrate?
Well, I felt, I ran on the platform I was going to be a working sheriff. I worked shifts, I worked crimes, I worked, everything that come down the pike, just like when I was a deputy, but I was the sheriff. And, there is, I'm a big believer in community policing. I was, and I'm a big believer in being a community magistrate. I want to be a full-time magistrate. And you learn stuff when you get out in the communities. And, I would tell people all the time, anytime any event was going on, like the E12 Fair or anywhere like that, any event, I would go there and make a presence, and by the end of the night, I would usually solve a lot of crimes, because when people see you, they want to tell you what's going on in their community because they care. They might not pick up the phone, but when they see you in person, they get that trust in you, and they'll open up and tell you things that can help. And I'm still that, and I will be that as master, because I want to each month have a community-wide meeting within the district and have people come in from all over the district and voice their concerns. And one thing that I'm going to do is I will always keep on file all the every committee I'm on, all the meetings. when the agenda comes out, I'm going to publish that on social media because I feel like the public needs to be informed of what's going on. Because if the meeting's on Tuesday, they can study that agenda too, just like I am, and they can call me and say, "Now, Chris, there's certain thing that I don't agree with, but I want to tell you my side of it, and I want you to listen. Listening is the best thing. I'll go into all meetings prepared."
Sure. Right now, we've seen, of course, a lot of folks talking about transparency. It's a big deal for them. So you just mentioned a few of your ideas about promoting transparency. How do you feel the county as a whole could promote transparency more, whether it's the court and partnership with the judge and all the other offices? How could you do that?
I think asking questions, and there's nothing wrong with that. And even if you feel like that you haven't been told something, you should ask. If there's something, and B, there's going to be 7 people, on that court, and plus your judge. But I'm not saying all 7 people should hold hands and sing the songs of life, together. But be respectful to each other. Be respectful for each other's ideas, and know that you're representing the people of Barren County. And it's we live in a great community, and I think getting along is one thing, and like I said, don't dismiss an idea or solution that's better than yours, and work with the folks on the fiscal court. Ask the questions, and we're not always going to agree, but you can disagree agreeably and let's get the job done for the people. That's what we were elected to do.
I know many folks are probably thinking, well, that's easier said than done, because it's no secret that right now, of course, it's very divisive in our county and even in our city, and there's just a lot of divisiveness as a whole. I don't want to blame any one person or any group for that. What is the key, do you think, to working together again, and is it possible here?
Oh, it's very possible. I think you just everybody is a somebody, and you have to respect that, and like I said, it shouldn't be about what party I belong to, you belong to, or this belong to. We're running for an office, all of us are, because we have an interest in not only our districts but for Barren County. And there's nothing wrong with sitting down at the table and discussing things and getting a master plan together. The next court, what's the master plan for our roads? What's the master plan for our growth? What can we do to grow at the sheriff's office to make sure that the citizens are protected, our schools are protected. What do they need? What does Helena need in her office for the clerk's office? What do we all need to grow it and be successful? And some of the best partnerships, is just sitting down. And like I said, at the end of the day, we all need to realize we're all on the same team.
Sure. What's your answer to the question of why should Chris Eaton get my vote this fall?
Well, I believe in public service. I believe that you should give back to your community. And Barren County has always been good to me since I've been a child. And I'm concerned about our future. And when I look at somebody and I ask them for their vote, I'm not asking them as a Democrat. I'm not asking them as a Republican. I'm not asking them as this. I'm asking them as me. If you thought I did a good job as sheriff, if you felt like that I lived up to my campaign promises to be a working sheriff, I would go to bed every night thinking about you, and I'd wake up every morning working for you. And that's the way I'll be as a magistrate, because I'm concerned, and I will be out every day in the community answering those problems. And I will be prepared when those meetings come, and if a hard question has to be asked, it needs to be asked. It's not personal, but it's just sometimes you just got to get down to the hard facts of things. And I think that's one thing that again, I've been using that word transparency. There again, I think that is a major word to be used by all candidates, because I think it's very important,
Sure.
to do that.
Right. Is there anything else you'd like to add today about your campaign, or clarifying anything to folks?
No, I'm an open book. You can look at me on Facebook, under my Facebook page, Magistrate's page. I've always published my phone numbers. I've always published my home address. I've got nothing to hide. I am who I am. 10 angels coming down swearing from heaven could tell story, and you're either going to believe me on my merits or you're not. And it's just, I am who I am. I've never changed, and I'm concerned. I'm really concerned, and I just want to let people know that I'm here. And it's not about the money. It's about how we can move this county forward. And like I'd said earlier, I can't wave a magic wand and put factories all over Barren County. I can't put it in Hiceville. But what I can do is promote our agriculture community, because we have some of the best and brightest farms. People were number one in dairy, number one in beef, and a lot of that originates in the 4th District. And our agribusiness is very vital to our community and very vital to Hiceville and the 4th District. So we need to promote that. And, there are lots of stuff, lots of history there in that community. And we need to get behind those people and make sure that they've got the infrastructure and the right stuff to keep moving forward and keeping everybody here.
Well, again, thank you for participating in this today. It's helpful for us to gauge you as a candidate. It's helpful, of course, for folks who are listening, who want to know more about you. Maybe they haven't gotten a chance to meet you. I know you've been going around trying to get to everybody's home and knock on their door. But again, thank you for sitting down with us today, discussing a little bit about you and your run for magistrate.
Thank you, Brennan. I appreciate the opportunity.
Sure thing. Good luck.
Thank you.